Again, that's the convection, the storminess of the storm, if you will, kind of the stormy conditions. There's some of that orange and red they're indicating where some of the wettest parts or some of the stormiest areas are inside of the storm itself. That's drifting northwest, and that may have interaction along the coast on toward Thursday night. Here's a batch of tropical moisture, never a classified tropical system, but at least a feature of interest across the satellite picture the last few days. That moisture scooting in will continue to push in across the Southland and add to some of the potential for the rainfall totals there. When you push this batch of tropical moisture, then this tropical depression, which becomes a batch of tropical moisture across the Southland, and then a front trailing across the southern U.S., could be it for a situation to bring about some needed rainfall in the Southland. We'll discuss that in further detail coming up and look at it again in Storm Watch coming up in about 10 minutes till the hour. Along the coast of Mexico, another tropical depression that at one point become a tropical storm, but the tropical depression still lingers not too far from Manzanillo, Mexico. We'll look at that in Storm Watch 2, but the main problem on the coast of Mexico is from some very, very heavy rainfall. More details on that on the way as well. Here's a look at the big picture, the contiguous 48. That big front meant big storms throughout Wednesday night, also means big changes in temperatures. Now, literally back on the cool side of things, it was a bit cooler than average today, where we often fall by some 11 degrees towards Chicago, not a warm day at all. A little cooler in toward Minneapolis, St. Paul. Very common when a cold front slices along, the cooler comes behind it. Makes sense. It's the leading edge of a cooler air mass. We're dragging in some cooler Canadian air. But often you also see where you draw in warmer temperatures ahead of it. That's been the case. We can test that in upstate New York, even around, say, Boston. About 10 degrees above where we often fall this time of the year. Some 7 degrees warmer toward New York City. That was okay, but a little warmer too also around Los Angeles. 81 degrees, 82 toward New York City, but a little cooler, 62 toward Chicago. In the 60s also, 68 to Kansas City, 72 for St. Louis, but the real cool air a little further back for the transition zone. Okay, it's not cool air, but it's cooler. For example, 79, that was our high today in San Francisco. Compare that to yesterday's temps in the 90s. Okay, every little bit helps when you're cooling off, and that's exactly what we've done. 38 to Barrow today, 56 to Fairbanks, 54 toward Anchorage. That's what you had for your Wednesday. 85 for Lihue and Honolulu, 88 to Kahului, 84 toward Hilo. We talked about the front along and ahead of it. Could see the chance of some severe weather, maybe an isolated severe storm or two. East Tennessee, a risk there, and also along the Gulf Coast. There's the rains expected to be, and even, again, the chance of some snow. As far as the amounts of precip, potentially a ½ inch, parts of New York State, even southward throughout the Appalachians. I may see maybe a ½ inch or so across the southeast, North Georgia, even parts of Alabama in need of some rain, especially around Tuscaloosa. Some lingering showers in the Midwest, and also mentioned the wintry weather. We'll have to look at a bit of that too here across portions of Montana. Here's the morning itself. A little windy. It will be windy throughout the Northeast and wet. Some rainfall in toward New York City eventually. Then our front scoots offshore. Soggy across the southeast. Wintry and windy across the northern plains. Here's a quick look at our precip again and our warmth. And for the Northeast, coming up in the Weather Channel, we'll take a look at the weather's impact on travel and TravelWise. Stay tuned.